Now that we've built our intent, let's go ahead and test it out. Now, whenever you make a new intent, when you come up to the Run tab in the top right, you'll see that it says our agent needs training. So what we want to do is just go ahead and click Train Agent. It's going to tell us this might take a few minutes. What this is doing is just making sure throughout our workflow, it understands our intent and when it should trigger. When it's done, you can see that we are 100% trained and 0% untrained, which means we are fully good to go and test this. Let's go ahead and run the test. And let's say right off the bat, I didn't click any of the buttons and I said, can I speak to a human? You can see it automatically jumped to our speak to a human intent and brings us to the text block that says, I understand that you want to speak to one of our representatives. And from here, we can handle both of these cases to collect their information and forward that to our Airtable. So then what we'll do is just add another message block and we'll write, let me collect your information and someone will reach out to you as soon as possible. Then I'll go ahead and collect this to another block. And what I'm going to do now is head back to our lead capture agent and just copy all of these blocks so we can paste the same functionality. We've already built capture leads which forward to an Airtable. So head back to the customer support build and then just press Command V or Control V on Windows to paste the blocks. I'll just slightly shift these and then connect the last block that we just created to our new one. Now I want to go ahead and delete this awesome message so we can just go right into what's your name and collecting the information. Since this is in a new designer, we have to go ahead and re-add our name and email variables. So what we have to do is just go and select our name variable and then select our email variable. Same thing in this block. We have this weird kind of string of numbers and letters. We have to just go ahead and delete this. Type in the left curly bracket and then add our name variable. And then the same thing for the email. We are now going to collect their name and email. However, the last thing I want to do is ask them to provide a detailed description of the problem they would like help with. We can add a new column in our Airtable, so this would give whoever is reaching out to them any information they need. So let's head back to our Airtable and add a new column. We're just going to select add field. I'm going to call this problem. We can make this a long text just in case it's more than a single line, and we can go ahead and create the field. So then the last thing I want to do before we modify the API step is just to ask the user the problem they'd like assistance with. So we can drag this yes out to a new message block, and the message says, please create a detailed description of the problem / question you would like assistance with. From here, we will go ahead and add a new capture, set this to entire user reply, and we'll create a new variable called problem. Okay, now we have problem. From here, what we want to do is connect this to our message block and change the text so it says, great, you will receive an email from one of our live representatives shortly. And now we can go and modify the API step. So let's head down to the API request, add a comma after status, false, press enter. And then in our quotes, we want to add exactly what we have the new column, which is problem in all lowercase. From here, add a colon and then another set of quotes. We'll type in our problem variable. From here, let's go ahead and run this test to make sure it all works. I'm just going to go directly and say, can I speak to a human? For my name, I'll say Pope. For the email, I'll say 123@gmail.com. I'll confirm this with yes. This is my name and email. And then for the problem description, I'll say, I don't understand what TRW is or what it offers. It tells us great. And then it forwards to our API step. If we just go ahead and check our Airtable, you can see that we have the problem correctly added to our Airtable. And now if I double click this, we have, I don't understand what TRW is or what it offers. From here, we could take this information, create a response and email this person. And this can also be automated as well.